Things are just constantly changing with these stimulus programs, and I have some more breaking news for you guys. Some good news, some things to consider with the EIDL and paycheck protection programs, some updates with the stimulus checks, some things to consider if you're applying either for EIDL or paycheck protection that I think could be issues in the near future, and then some safety tips as far as fraud goes with these loan protection programs. So let's get right in. I'll start with the best news on the stimulus check end. The IRS is actually ahead of the game here. We were expecting towards the end of April, beginning of May, for the online portal to come out in order to allow taxpayers who didn't electronically receive their refund to enter in their bank information, thus letting them receive their checks earlier. If you're not already aware, basically if you didn't put in your information electronically, you're gonna have to wait like 5 or 6 months in order to get a paper check. And they were going to have an online portal to come out in about a month in order to allow those people to enter in their information and be able to receive it electronically much faster. And this is great news because obviously we all need money right now, and there's many people who are struggling massively right now. So being able to get this money quicker is so awesome. That portal is going to come out next week. I'm sure I'll talk about it again later on this week once it's out and official and there's actually some more news coming with it. If you're curious on who does and doesn't receive stimulus checks, there's a bunch of groups of people who actually aren't eligible, unfortunately. Whether that's fair or not, there's a bunch of groups. And income limitations, as far as like if you make more than $75,000 a year, it scales down pretty quickly. How much you can make if you're single, if you're married, scales down pretty quickly after about $150,000 a year. I have another video on that if you're not on the up and up already, but I'm sure you are if you're already watching this video. And we'll get into the EIDL and paycheck protection program parts. Please remember to like this video, and if you aren't already subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Only about 5 to 10% of you who watch are subscribed. Just click the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. Anyways, let's get right into it. So onto the self-employed aspect with the paycheck protection program. I'm getting a lot of questions here. There's a lot of gray areas still, things that just have not been clarified. So I'm going to point out a lot of issues that I see before people potentially apply and questions you can ask your loan officers if you do decide to apply. So as far as all self-employed people go, you can apply for the paycheck protection program if you are doing owner draws, but it's going to make it tough for you. A way that's going to make it easier is if you happen to have done draws on a regular basis in the past, like every 2 weeks, every month, then that's easier to prove it's payroll. Really the thing is you want to be able to convince your bank that this is income to you, not just money spent on anything. And you're gonna have to prove that to your bank. If the bank doesn't allow it, you may actually be able to get a waiver through the SBA. That's an exception of the rule, but I'm not actually sure yet how difficult that's gonna be. I just know that that has been the case for other disaster relief programs through the SBA in the past. Basically, it comes down to if you didn't pay taxes on your owner draws or earnings that were potentially spent on other things, it's going to be really hard for the bank to know exactly what that is. And then it's also going to be very hard for them to consider that for loan forgiveness. So that's a major issue there. For instance, if you got a loan, let's say for $10,000, you do your regular owner draws, but they can't prove that you didn't just go on a shopping spree with that. I could see potential issues as far as forgiveness goes, and you're gonna wanna know this all up front so you're not just stuck with a loan. I mean, ultimately it should be money you're spending either way, so it shouldn't be a big deal in that aspect, but you wanna make sure all your bases are covered before you get into, there's a lot of gray area here, especially for the self-employed. So I just wanna put this all out there so all of you who are self-employed, I know there's many of you watching who are, that you are considering all these aspects. And if you are self-employed, if you're using net earnings, not gross earnings, so after expenses on your application for paycheck protection program, I think it's really important to underestimate the amount. That way there's no issues in the long run where you potentially ask for a larger amount than you should have gotten. The issue is here, banks are not liable for if you request the wrong amount. That's kind of unique with this program. They're told to do their diligence, but there's no definition in this case. So because there's so many loan applications coming in, I'm guessing it's gonna be more like, all right, you said you're owed this much, here's your loan amount, with very basic proof. And if that's incorrect, that could potentially come back on you. They don't say exactly what the punishment is for getting the wrong loan amount, but I personally don't want to find out what that punishment might be. And here's another thing that I haven't seen information of anywhere on YouTube. It's called duplication of benefits, and this is kind of concerning for the EIDL loan. Basically, there's a stipulation in government funds, government benefits, that doesn't allow you to duplicate. They don't want you to double dip. And the issue with EIDL potentially, because they don't say explicitly that it doesn't count as duplication of benefits, let me just explain it. So the concerning part with the EIDL is a thing called duplication of benefits. Basically what that means is there's government stipulations that say you can't get two benefits from the same thing. You basically can't double dip. And the issue with EIDL is it says that you can decline the loan portion beyond the grant amount, but it doesn't say that if you decline that amount, that it will be considered towards duplication of benefits. And I'll get into why that's really important. But here's an example. If you had an insurance policy that covered a COVID-19 claim, that actually would be considered towards a duplication of benefits where you wouldn't be able to both get a benefit from that insurance policy claim and a government program for the same aspect. That is considered duplication of benefits. And this was a big issue in Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina, where people were receiving government benefits, and after they had received a certain portion or declined a certain offering, that amount that was declined actually went against them in future relief amounts. Now this is an issue because let's say you file for the EIDL grant money, you get a $1,000 grant, plus they offer you a $15,000 loan. You turn down the loan because you don't need that money. So you think, okay, that's fine, I just turned down the loan, whatever. That what could happen is 6 months down the road from now, if the economic conditions don't get any better, they could say, hey, you turned down that $15,000, that counts against what you can get now. And that's the concerning part because of the up in the air nature of what's going on. We don't know how long this is gonna last. So if someone turns down that $15,000 loan now, they could potentially be really screwed 6 months, 12 months from now if things continue to go downhill, because there's no mention whatsoever that it can count or doesn't count towards duplication of benefits, and this has been a major issue in certain states in the past. So basically, duplication of benefits, in summary, is the amount you decline can potentially come out of this account of money that you can get in a disaster relief program. So if this is worrying you, here is an example path of least resistance that someone could potentially take and be, the safest way possible in order to receive some federal funds. The first one is filing for unemployment, because you can get unemployment and another one of these programs. So if you're eligible for unemployment, I won't get into all the eligibility details right now. First, file for that if you absolutely need disaster assistance. Then after that, file for paycheck protection, but only if you can either prove that your owner jobs or earnings were payroll. And the easiest way to prove that is if in the past you paid payroll taxes on those earnings, because then it's pretty obvious. You paid the taxes on that, it's considered earnings. And then after that, I would file for the EIDL, but only if the decline portion of the loan will not count as duplication of benefits. I'm really hoping we get some clarification on this on the next week or two, and I'll let you guys know if we get anything. I know it's confusing, so I'm trying to explain it in the easiest terms I possibly can muster. And number 4 in the path of least resistance, something I really haven't heard much about, is using state assistance for disaster relief. The reason for this is state funds are different than federal funds in that you can get state funds and it won't apply towards that duplication of benefits for any federal amount you receive. However, on the state level, this varies from state to state to state. So depending on the state that you live in, they could be offering something right now, or maybe not. You're gonna have to check on that on the state level. But there are other options out here, is basically what I'm trying to say, besides EIDL and paycheck protection. Another thing I wanted to talk about is just general safety and security when dealing with these loans, because there's a lot of people out there who are trying to pull user information, get people to, give them their social security number, charge for, applications on certain loan programs. So I wanted to give some safety and security tips here, just so you don't get trapped in one of those situations, either paying more than you have to pay, which should basically be nothing, or giving up your information to the wrong person, putting it in the wrong hands, and then them doing who knows what with your, personal information. So This is what we've seen some of. If a domain looks something like SBA7A.loans, like that's the website, then you know it's not an official SBA program. It's probably some kind of affiliate used by the US government, contracted to work on the SBA. Now, not all of these are necessarily scams. Some of them are working with the SBA, but just know if it's, any link but a .gov, it's not the SBA directly. The SBA will always contact or always go through a .gov website, always. The next one, as always, just be careful giving your information to anyone. Call centers will never refer a specific lender, so that's something really interesting to think about that I had been told about. If someone calls you and says, hey, go to this lender, there's a chance that they're actually with that lender or it's some kind of affiliate program with that lender and they're not actually with the SBA. The SBA doesn't care who you go through, and chances are if you call the call center SBA, they're not going to give you a recommendation who you can get a loan through. They're going to refer you to their website that does the little SBA lender search. So that's another really important thing to consider. And if you happen to catch any kind of SBA fraud or something that looks sketchy, you can report it to the SBA Inspector General. They have a webpage on the SBA site. Report it there, and you can potentially help out other businesses before they get caught or scammed. The issue here is these programs are just so nuanced and complicated that it's a perfect opportunity for a scammer to just prey on a small business that's trying to hurry and get their documents out and get funding as soon as possible and not really checking URLs and, just doing their due diligence that they normally would because it's such a rush. So we need to be extra careful and safe in these instances. Here's another couple additional safety tips. Document who you talk to by recording the call and ask them to identify with their payroll ID. That way you can reference it later. The SBA will use a postal mail and send you a copy of everything you're emailed, and it should be sent about 5 days after you're initially emailed. The SBA will always use email addresses that end with @sba.gov. So that's really important, especially if you're not super computer savvy. SBA.gov. You want to look for that .gov always. If there's an additional letter or something altered there, don't trust it. And the SBA will log all communications you have with them. Their general process is to attempt one phone call, one email, and one postal mail per contact over account changes or issues. Now, if you're just applying for a loan, they might call you more than that just to get the information in, but that's their general process. And it shouldn't cost you anything. This is a huge red flag. It shouldn't cost you anything to file with one of these emergency grant programs. As part of the CARES Act, they waived all filing fees, so it shouldn't cost you anything. I saw there was a business called SBA Bookkeepers who are requesting $1,800 per application for processing under these grant programs. Do not pay for this. These programs are generally pretty streamlined. If you're confused with it, I have videos covering literally every aspect of it. Don't let other people pay for it because they're not that complicated. If you really need the funds right now, you shouldn't have to pay extra to make it a little bit easier. Just refer to my videos because I do a step-by-step on literally everything. If you're going through a paycheck protection lender through a bank, it should be very clear what they're requesting. If you have a specific issue that I've never addressed, feel free to comment that below. I'm doing my best to respond to every single comment, but there's so many of them, I get a little bit overwhelmed. If there's unique questions, I try to make sure they're answered. That way there's no holes left. I'm doing the best I can to keep up with everything. All in all, I'm glad that there's some action being made on these programs. I hope that there's some clarification on the EIDL grant programs, and I'm really excited to see that these $1,200 checks will be rolling out very soon. Actually, as of recording this, I know some people have actually received their $1,200 checks, and we expect over the next few weeks, there's going to be a slow process where everyone slowly receives those checks. If you're one of those people who didn't file either 2018 or 2019 taxes, there's a separate portal for you in order to electronically receive these checks. So that's all I have for today. I'm sure there's going to be more that comes out tomorrow, and I'll make sure to report it to you guys. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.